So before we start the video, I just want to apologize for the crappy audio in some portions of it. I was using a backup microphone that I didn't realize was broken. My main microphone is broken, and I even thought about not putting this out because of it, but it was really beautiful down there yesterday, and I still think the video is a good watch. So for all of you audiophiles, I am very, very sorry. What is up, guys? I am Evan and you guys are watching Auto Handler TV. It is a beautiful day in Portland, and this morning I went and towed a car for a friend. I ended up washing that disgusting amount of grime that was on my car from the last video off, and I just wanted to get out and drive my car a little bit. Maybe not even drift it, just go cruise it around the city and whatnot. And so that got me thinking, although many of you have probably seen this entire car get built on Instagram, I'm sure there are a bunch of you that don't know the ins and outs of the car and all the little details and whatnot, and so I thought I would just go ahead and do a car check today. I'm going to walk you guys through my entire car build. I'm going to show you basically what it's got, why I chose what I chose, and basically how to build a good, simple seat time E36 drift car on a budget. Now, I'm sure many of you see this car and you think that there's just endless amounts of money put into it, but to be completely honest, I like to save when I can, and although I go pretty crazy on the appearance of my vehicle, I really like to just make things simple and cheap, and I hopefully will be able to give you guys some tips on building an E36 of your own for the track. So the car is a 1998 328 IS. I've had it for about 2.5 years, and there's actually been 3 different power plants in the car. It started out with an M52, I swapped it to an S52, and I ended up blowing the head gasket on the last lap of the last day of Drift Week 3. And that was when I decided to go ahead and put an LS1 from a Corvette into this car. The LS1 actually only cost me $1,500, and the head gasket job ended up costing me $1,700 to fix the S52. We did do that, and that S52 lives on in my girlfriend's E36, but when you can buy an entire V8 for the same cost as a repair on a BMW engine, it really got me thinking, and I decided to pull the trigger and do the swap. I'm actually running the car with a Pmc Motorsport Adapter and the same transmission that I used on both the M52 and the S52. I love the ZF320 as a transmission. It is super light, the packaging is great, it's really small, it's designed for the car, and it allowed me to reuse the OEM driveline and carrier bearing and basically not have to re-engineer the entire vehicle just because I wanted to change the power plant. Drift HQ offers the Pmc Motorsport Adapter Kit on their website. I cannot more highly recommend it. It does an amazing job. It uses a stock style M3 clutch, and I was able to get an ACT clutch disc for it for maybe 150 bucks or something like that, and those things are indestructible. So I really, really highly recommend you guys check that out. As far as under the hood goes, there's not a lot of floss underneath there. It's basically all business, and I like to keep it that way. I just want my car to work and to have fun. As far as the cooling system goes, I am using a stock E36 Radiator, a Lincoln Mark 8 fan that's a 5,000 CFM OEM fan. It might be the most powerful fan ever created for any vehicle. And I just cut up my core support, stuffed everything in there, and was able to relocate my expansion tank using a Euro M3 expansion tank. That's a cool little trick because it positions the expansion tank as the highest point in the engine bay, and so you don't need to elevate your car in order to bleed the system properly. You basically just fill it up, let it idle for 15 minutes with the cap off, cap it, and the system is entirely bled. So that's a really simple way to do things. I'm actually running a 160-degree thermostat with the LS1, and I have never seen the engine temps on this car go over 190 degrees. And that includes last summer when I was drifting it at the track, just hot lapping it in August, down to street driving or doing burnouts or anything. It does a great job of staying cool, and I really recommend using the stock E36 radiator with your swap. It's a thin triple pass radiator, and a lot of people don't realize that in order for a radiator to do a good job, air has to be able to pass through it. And the thicker your radiator is, the more difficult and the more work that your fan has to do in order to get air to pass through it. And so with the stock E36 radiator being a triple pass radiator and it being very thin, that massive fan that I have does an incredible job of keeping the car cool. Alright guys, so my interior audio bit got completely corrupted, so I'm just going to do a quick voiceover and give you guys a brief explanation of what's going on the inside of my car. It's a pretty basic grassroots setup. I run a Grip Royal steering wheel, I've got a fire extinguisher, I actually have a full audio system with a 12-inch sub built into a box in the back of the car, little rear seat delete that I made, a chase base hydro with Willwood dual caliper setup, all chase bays, Condor Speed Shop door cards. They're really great and quiet because they're made of plastic and not metal. I run a pair of reupholstered Sparco Evo seats, and I have a basic 4-point roll cage with a single door bar. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, and it works well for me. So, suspension. I'm actually running BC Racing extreme low coilovers on all 4 corners, 10K springs on all 4 corners. So it's a 10K square setup. I run them at full soft, clicked all the way soft. And I like my car to have a lot of droop. I like the unsprung weight of my car to do what it's supposed to. And I like the ride to be soft. I don't like to get my fillings rattled out while I'm street driving the car. And I really don't mind if the car bucks to the side just a little bit on hard entries and stuff like that. It makes the car super comfortable and it stays really gripped up no matter what the road conditions are. As far as the angle kit goes, there's really nothing fancy here. I'm using the Pmc 71 control arms. They're these beefy milled control arms that you can get with their kit for a really good price. I actually paired those up with some simple cut and weld style knuckles that my buddy Evan Bogovich made for me. And I'm using the Chelsea Denofa inner tie rods you can get on Drift HQ's website with I think an E36 outer tie rod. One confession that I do have to make is that I have not aligned this car in 2 years. I did get a 4-wheel alignment so that I would know my rear toe settings would be perfect. I actually run a 1/4 inch of toe in the back and -2 rear camber. I've tried 0, but I don't like the way that it makes the car look, although the tire wear is really good. The appearance of my car probably needs the least amount of explanation of all the stuff on my car. As many of you know, I do make all the body panels on this car. I feel like the wheels need no introduction. They are a full rear set of Style 40 17x9 from a Z3 Coupe. I shouldn't even mention them because I change wheels on this car so often that I'm sure the next time that you see it, it'll probably have different wheels on it. But I am really happy with these wheels. They look super cool on the car. And as far as OEM wheels go, they're about top tier as it gets, so they're pretty cool. I do like them. As far as tire sizes go, I run a 215/40 front. I typically run a simple Chinese 300 treadwear front tire, aired up to 35-40 PSI. I do like the car to have a little bit of slip in the front. It makes the car more fun to drive. It makes it easier to recover from big angle, and the tires are cheap, so that's awesome. In the rear, I run a 235/40 17 Velino Pergia or a Kenda KR20A. Those are pretty much the only tires that I am willing to run. The Pergias feel amazing. They're super grippy and they have great life. They have no delamination issues or hot spots. And the Kenda KR20A, everyone talks about these tires. I mean, they are the longest lasting, best drift tire in the entire market. They're getting kind of hard to get because of some tariff stuff going on in Korea right now. But I luckily bought a whole bunch of them last year in about December, and so I've still got a few left over. I cannot more highly recommend the KR20A. You can literally get through 2 full days of driving on KR20As with a stock engine BMW, so I definitely say check those out. So yeah, that's pretty much my car, you guys. Hopefully I covered everything. I know when I get home and I start going through this footage, there's going to be some huge thing that I forgot to mention. but I think I was pretty thorough. Hopefully that will show you guys that it's not rocket science to put together a fun drift car that's reliable and fun to drive. As long as you treat your car right and you nut and bolt it and you get pretty decent parts for it, there's pretty much a pretty simple formula with these things, and it's easy to make a really, really fun drift car. Now you know the ins and outs of it, and maybe you'll get some tips and tricks or some ideas as to what to do with your guys' E36s at home. Thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet this time and get out of here. So I will see you guys in the next video. We are moving on the 1st of the month. It is gonna be so exciting. I cannot wait to bring you guys along. I will see you next time. Catch you later.
That is insane.
The tires are too grippy, bro.